Hey everyone, Calvin here with the video blog that I should have started a little while ago, but I didn't. What happened is, a couple days ago, I went down to Industrial Metal Supply in Sun Valley with one of the guys from the shop and got a whole bunch of metal, which was a really bad idea for cheap. So I decided I wanted to make a horizontal mill for a long time, but I never had the material to do so, so finally I got it and I decided, you know what, no one really has a video out there on how to build your own machine from scratch, so I'm going to try and do my best on this one. There might be missing parts, but for those, if you're going to try and take on something like this, you should at least know enough about machining to be able to pull this off. So far, I've got a big old, really heavy piece of steel here that I squared up using the round bar method, and then did a pretty good job of squaring the ends up. I can do a better job later if I need to. What I did over Saturday in the shop, though, on the Millmax, which is like a Bridgeport, is, I don't know if you can see it or not without crushing my phone, I was able to cut the center slot here. I'll have dimensions for everything later. Cut the sides and then begin to cut a little stress relief channel in here. The reason why I'm doing that is mostly because the 60-degree dovetail cutter I'm going to use obviously has a sharp edge on it, and once you get done deburring the two pieces and put them together to form the dovetail, you're not going to have a really razor sharp edge on there. And that is the most fragile part of the whole cutter, so obviously it makes sense to just eliminate that area. So I took a little slitting saw that was about 50 thou thick. You could use something around that thickness if you had one. If it was a little thicker, it's not going to hurt. And drew the drawings up in AutoCAD and figured out how far I needed to go over. I didn't go very far on this one, it was just a test, but I actually got very good results, but I just ran out of time to cut it to full thickness. So Monday, or tomorrow, I am going to finish cutting the stress relieving slots and then work on cutting the dovetails. I own a Sherline mill, so I was looking at that and figured out that a 1/4 inch thick dovetail, while it might seem a little thin, should be strong enough, and in the very worst case scenario I can always go back and re-indicate the part into the vise and mill all over again, but I hope I won't have to do that because it would be a mess. If you already own a horizontal mill or have access to one, building something like this would actually be somewhat simple. If you know anything about gang tooling, you can set up some cutters to make the center slot and then make the two side pieces all in one setup. You'd still have to flip the part sideways to cut the slots and dovetails, but you can do that. But then again, why would you be wanting to build one if you already own one? Monday, my goal is to dovetail it and also work on cutting the back of this with obviously the slots and things like that. The piece of steel right here measures in, I don't have a ruler with me, I'll get dimensions later, but for what it is, I got a good price on it. Industrial Metal had steel for about 89 cents a pound, which was fair enough, so got about 90 pounds of 80 or so pounds of steel for this project for a relatively reasonable price compared to just going out and buying it. So the dimensions for the material itself can vary slightly depending upon what you got or what you feel like spending. I did decide to go with square hollow tube for the Z-axis though, but I'm going to have a reinforcement plate at the bottom and a reinforcement plate at the top, and I'm still figuring out what I'm going to use as bushings or bearings, but I've decided for now I'm probably going to use iron bronze. It's oil impregnated, run some oil holes into the thing, and the maximum speed is not going to be very high, so I'm not too worried about the bushings, and if anything happens I could just make another one or always bore it out to make bearings or something like that. So we'll see. If any of you expert machinist people have anything helpful to say, I'll definitely use the advice. I will definitely, though, try and work on getting some blueprints made up for the more or less the important stuff like the dovetails and the steps like that. So to end the video, I have a short video of roughing out the center slot on here using a 3/4 by 3/4 inch. Don't know what the coating is, probably titanium carbon nitride. Haneda roughing end mill going about, guessing about 450 RPM at a slow feed rate, probably more like 3 inches a minute using the power feed, and 100 thousandths depth of cut, which generally we try and keep the depth of cut to about 25, but being a rougher, I cheated and dropped it more and I knew exactly what I was doing, and this little guy chewed right through it. So that's just my little random video at the end of the video for you guys. So tomorrow I will try and get what video I can of cutting the slots. Bear with the quality because it will be shot with my iPhone, so it'll be what it will be, but if I need to, I can always go back and make it better. Or, like I said, if you're taking this project on, you should definitely know what you're doing, or definitely get someone in there who really knows what they're doing to help you, because things can get out of control fast. So I'm going to go back to stoning this and laying it down with my little oil-soaked fine polishing stone. These things are handy, and they'll actually come in handy later on when I lap the working surfaces together. So you guys will see why. So until I get another video up, just enjoy this, and if you have anything helpful to say, feel free to post it up, and I'll try and get some plans soon. So talk to you guys later.